Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
I ask you to do me a favor. Suburban women, will you please like me? Remember? Please. I saved your damn neighborhood, okay? The other thing, I don't have that much time to be that nice. You know, I can do it, but I gotta go quickly. We don't have time. They want me to be politically correct. Oh, yes, let's discuss it. Let's talk about it over the next 10 years. No. We saved suburbia.
No, they're not going to like you. And you know what's funny? It has nothing to do with the things that you've done as far as regulations, backing the police, immigration, although they didn't like what happened at the border, but they like your stance on immigration, pulling our troops home, taxes. A lot of that stuff they were fine with. Actions they were okay with. Attitude. New poll out last week. People talk about Gallup poll. 56% of people say they're better off now than they were 4 years ago. 56%. You would think it's a walk in the park then, right? But you look at the polls. Chad, you can't believe the polls. No, you can believe. This is the I'm gonna stress this again because I have to. Polls weren't wrong. They were wrong in a few states. And there were polls that got it right. Gravis got it right because they're focused more on states. Investors Business Daily TIPP poll got it right. LA Times USC poll got it right in the last election. Both of them have him up, Biden, by about 6 to 8, depending on the poll. Not 17 like you see some other polls, not 18, not 10, but 6 to 8. So that's well within catchable range if you think about it. But that 56%, you say, oh my God, 56% say they're better off today than they were 4 years ago. My God, 56%. That should be a walk in the park. But when you look at the polls, it says something else. And I was talking to Jim Garrity yesterday, National Review. He says, that's actually good for Biden. Because what it says, as we were talking about this, is it's the attitude. People don't want the show anymore. People are over the show. People don't want the show. People don't want the chaos. People don't want that. They don't want the arguing. They don't want the fighting. They're okay with some of it because it's politics and we expect politics to have infighting, battling, arguing. We expect that. But the 24/7 nonstop reality television show, people are kind of over it. It's like one of those, everybody's got a friend like that they love, right? You think, I really like this guy. But there's only so much you can handle. I really like this person, right? She's great. He's great. They do great work. But at the end of the day, it's time for you to go home. Because I can only handle you in bits and pieces. And a lot of people feel, because of his attitude, at this point, you've overstayed your welcome. We're going to find out. I think the polls are going to be very, very close. I think things are going to tighten up very fast. I don't think it's the walk in the park that a lot of other people think. I think, quite frankly, this is going to be much different a week from today, 2 weeks from today. And then on that night, we're 20 days away from the election. We're also 21 days away from not having to hear ads, not having to see signs everywhere, not having every commercial approved by this candidate or that candidate, which all should make us smile. But when you look at that 56%, people go automatically on Trump's side. And I would say the right, but the reality is a lot of these Trump voters, they were disengaged with politics altogether. Either they weren't into politics ever or they'd given up on politics. And the reality is they may leave politics altogether after Trump's gone. You don't know. I don't know. But a lot of people that were in the middle, that like the actions, are weighing the attitude. What helped Trump last election isn't there this election, and that's going to be late voters. When you've got 29% in Wisconsin that broke essentially the day of for Trump. Double digits in all of those battleground states, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Florida. It broke in a way that we may not get. Every time you turn around, you look, early voting, people are waiting hours and hours in line. Every time you turn around, it went from 5 million last week. We talked about it, I think, on Friday, 5 or 6 million. We're over 13 million now, early voters. You know what you can't do? You can't get that back. You can't get that back. Why are you doom and gloom on Trump? I'm not. Just being honest. Just being honest. Because even some of you out there who love Trump go, yeah, I do know some people like that. I know some people that overstay their welcome. You like them, but you have to take them in bits and pieces. You like them, but I don't know if I want another 4 years of this. And look, I find a lot of the stuff he does ridiculous, but I also find the way that people react towards him ridiculous. Oh, he said something I didn't like. My feelings are hurt. But feelings are, we talked about Bill Burr. People were hammering the comedian Bill Burr the other night. They were pissed off at him because he hurt people's feelings on his monologue on Saturday Night Live. I can't even stomach anymore. We've become less reason and more feelings. So everybody's feelings are hurt. But 56%, it looks like that number, but the reality is it may not be the number that people think. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. Yesterday, look, it's just a touch, and Amy Coney Barrett hearings going on and stuff, but some of the stuff yesterday was, they were mad because she didn't answer questions. They were mad because the hypothetical insanity they threw at her was just, it's ridiculous. Well, Chad, she didn't answer questions. I'm going to take you back. Let's all get inside the time machine of fun. All right? We're going to go back. 1993. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So remember, they're mad because she's not answering questions on hypothetical situations. They're mad about that.
A judge sworn to decide impartially can offer no forecasts, no hints, for that would show not only disregard for the specifics of the particular case, it would display disdain for the entire judicial process. Similarly, because you are considering my capacity for independent judging, my personal views on how I would vote on a publicly debated issue were I in your shoes are not what you will be closely examining.
Yeah. Translation, I'm not answering your hypothetical BS. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not answering your baloney. And it's a show. I get that. It's a show. You're doing it for your base. You're raising money. You're doing all of the things that you have to do. And Dick Durbin, he actually asked some real questions yesterday. And some people say, well, Illinois, he's familiar with her. He knows her. Yeah. And then you got, Mazie Hirono. I've never sexually assaulted anybody. And you've got this. It's, to me, first of all, watching her, right? She doesn't have anything written down. It's all off the top of her head. You don't know what they're going to ask. They're going to grandstand for 6.5 minutes, and then for 30 seconds, they're going to ask a question that's going to be hypothetical. Like if an alien landed here, right, but didn't have a passport, and then impregnated a 15, you're just like, oh my God, it's nuts. But that's where politics has gotten to. Partisan, crazy lunacy. And we only see things through red and blue. And it does get frustrating. Do I think that she is going to be a solid judge? I do. I think Merrick Garland would have been a solid judge. Do I think she's going to interpret the law as it was meant to be written, not as people would like it to be? Yes. Do I think that upsets some people? Absolutely it does. But it would be reversed if it was somebody else. and the right would be fighting it. Everything's about interpretation nowadays. It truly is, and never more so has that been evident in the way that we tweet. Yesterday we touched on it, that we were, for whatever reason, we were flagged on a post about the fact that the young Greta Thunberg has endorsed Joe Biden because of the climate change and getting back in the Paris Climate Accords, and so that was all true. But they flagged us for false information. And then when you click on it to find out what the false information is, now we never said this. There was nothing about this in our thing. The AI basically interpreted that we think that she asked the Chinese to eliminate chopsticks. Nowhere was that. Welcome to the world. It's not what you say. It's how it's taken. What did she endorsed Joe Biden? Did you guys hear that? What? She doesn't want Chinese to have chopsticks? It's not what I said. I think that's what she said. It's not what I said. Pretty sure that's what she said. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson shows your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. Wounded Paw Project. Amazing organization. 20 veterans a day. And some people say it's actually far worse than this. Commit suicide. You've got first responders struggling. And let's not forget what the families are going through. So Wounded Paw Project came along and said, let's unite animals, dogs, who would be euthanized, train them to be service dogs, and help our first responders, our veterans, and their families. And that's what they've done. And it is an amazing organization. To see the work they're doing, people struggling with PTSD, with injuries, family members who are struggling with a lot of different things, and these animals are changing lives for the better. They need your help. You can give in several different ways. The gift of a vehicle is amazing, great tax-deductible gift, and the proceeds are used to advocate and transform these shelter dogs into service dogs for veterans, first responders, and their family. You can find out everything you need to know by going to woundedpawproject.org, woundedpawproject.org. See the work that they're doing. It is truly amazing. Woundedpawproject.org. You'll be saving a paw to save a life. Chad Benson, Chew.
If you're part of the politically exhausted majority, don't fear. Your time to be validated and rejuvenated is here. Wake up. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Instead of the second presidential debate, there will be dueling town hall events on Thursday evening. Joe Biden sits down with ABC's George Stephanopoulos and voters in Philadelphia for a 90-minute Q&A session. At the same time, President Trump will do a town hall event on NBC News with Florida voters at an outdoor location in Miami. The second presidential debate was supposed to be a town hall event, but after the commission said the two candidates would appear from remote locations, President Trump said he would not participate.
Nope. So he's going to do an NBC. And earlier today, I flip on Twitter at like 3 a.m, whatever. So, boycott NBC. I'm like, what did they do? Like, what did an entire network do to get boycotted? And it's like, well, Trump's going to have. And then people are like, I can't believe Trump. Know this, guys. Everything Trump says about the media, I hear he's authoritarian, he's all of these things. Do you understand what that word is? Do you get it? Like, he's just like Mussolini and Hitler. And really? You guys think that? You think he's like Xi? Do you really believe that? Because I see the media destroy him all day long. And they're still operating. And they love every second of it. They're eating up the ratings because they understand there is a good chance that a few months from now, the thing that which they have been feeding at, that trough of Trump, will be gone. Replaced by Biden. And the only thing they'll cover at that point is, he said he was in Cleveland when really he was in Chicago. Forgot what day it was. He still thinks he's running for Senate. That's not the same. They both need each other. Trump will criticize the media all day and then he'll go do an interview. Why? Because he needs them. He understands it. They understand it. They may not like his politics, but they love his paychecks. That goes for both sides. There are a lot of people out there who were running on empty till Trump gave them a bump. But when Trump's gone, I think it's going to change. And I don't even know. That could be 4 years from now. Their dream, the dream of dreams. I was talking to somebody higher up in one of the establishment medias, and he and I, we chat every once in a while. And he said, well, Trump being president, but the Senate and the House being in Democrat hands would be good. It would be. That'd be, from an entertainment side. And then on the other side, he also said, well, if Trump lost, but he didn't go anywhere, and he decided to continue what he's doing, tweeting, doing all these things, might be okay too. That's Trump money. That's the trough. So yeah, they're both going to do something, and you can boycott NBC or be mad at him and say, well, I can't believe he's going on that communist evil thing. Well, what, One American News or Newsmax won't have him? He needs to reach the most eyes. He needs to get out there, and he's going to do that. And he eats it up as much as they do. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show, Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from all of you. We got a story about a guy hiking and a cougar. And when I first heard it, I'm like, tender? No. This is actual real live cougar. When you hear the story, you're like, oh. And then when you see the video, you're like, guy's a ding-dong. He kind of is. And let's be honest, right? What kind of man hikes by himself? What kind of man hikes by himself? I like nature. Would you hike, Chad? Did my plane crash? Am I out there with a girl? Is that one of the things? We're like, I really like to hike. Well, I like you, so I'm willing to endure this crap. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show, your Twitter. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
If this were a fight, this campaign, we are now in the last round. These 3 weeks, this is it. You're going to see both campaigns coming with everything they got. So what do we see? Biden is making sure he doesn't get put in a corner, right? He's moving around the ring. He's going to the places he needs to be. His hands are up at all times because he believes he's ahead on points. Trump, on the other hand, knows he needs a knockout. He is going for broke. Every punch is a haymaker. He's swinging wildly.
Oh, yeah. Did you say that a long time ago, Chad? This is going to be like the championship rounds? 10th, 11th, 12th? I did say that. I did. Of course it is. That's why he needs the debates. That's absolutely why. That's why he's asking people, why don't you like me, suburban women? Why don't you like me? Look, and there may be more suburban women that support him than you realize, because I still think there is a quiet group of people that don't want to talk about who they're voting for. I also talked yesterday, I touched on a little bit, but I had more people in the last 24 hours tell me, hey, I voted, and I didn't vote for either of them. I had a lot of people say that. I get it. People say, well, you need to vote for one of them because of your throw. No, it's not. Your vote is your vote. It's not a throwaway. Don't let anybody tell you that. They're just pissed. Let me tell you, this is something. If somebody says to you, that vote's a throwaway, and then you say, well, who'd you vote for? And they say, well, Trump or Biden. And then you say the opposite, they would probably say, well, I don't really care if you vote or not. What they want you to do is throw away, quote unquote, as they call it, the vote to them and the people that they support. If you support Joe Jorgensen, if you support Kanye, or if you're just fed up and you cross it out and you do everything else, that's your prerogative. If you're sick and tired of the politics and you're like, you know what, I am going to push this election and not, I get it. More with the boxing analogy from Mr. Cuomo.
False promises of disappearing pandemics, magical economic rebounds, pretending you can only trust him when more of his people have been forced out or indicted than anybody, including Watergate, calling himself the greatest in the ring when he can't float or fly. He can just lie and deny. We are on the ropes in this fight thanks to pure Trumpery.
Pure Trumpery. My God. Pure Trumpery. Oh, my Lord. Fredo there. It's interesting. Very interesting. Yeah. Look, sit back, relax, enjoy it. A lot of you have already voted. Most of you have made up your mind. Those last-minute voters will be much smaller than they were last time, and that's what really put Trump over. But he's got loyalty. Axios has a loyalty index to Trump. So this is the loyalty index of Republicans and how loyal they are. 85% of elected Republicans who've been in Congress throughout Trump's term have largely stood by him through 7 crises that would, in any other administration, crush most politicians. Think about that for a second. Matt Gaetz, oddly enough, as much as he is up Trump's butt at times, only 85% voting record with him. So Kevin Cramer, North Dakota, 97%. How about this? Steve Scalise, 99%. Wisconsin 6th rep, Glenn Grothman, his loyalty index is 93%. His voting record is 94%. Yeah. Looks like there's a lot of reasons why people stick by Trump. Sometimes it's like, you know what? Do I want to get on his bad side? Do I want to get hammered? Do I want to get destroyed? Do I want to be dragged through the mud? Do I want him to endorse the person that's trying to primary me and or the person on the other side of the aisle because and that's sad. That's completely sad, but that's the political world, and that's what Trump does. Somebody asked me yesterday, Chad, you said that you don't know. If Trump loses, you don't know what would happen the last 2 months or so. I said, no. I said, I'll be honest, man. I said, he may go, okay, you guys don't want me, I'm leaving. Mike, you can finish it. I'm taking my ball and going home. Is that a possibility? Of course it is. Anything is possible, Trump. Just like he can win another 4 years. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. Speaking of anything that's possible, coronavirus still here.
There are multiple fail-safe measures associated with the vaccine trial. An independent group, beholden to no one, not to the government, not to the FDA, not to the drug company, not to me. They will look at the data, they will analyze it, and they will determine, is there statistically enough information there to say that it is effective? Once that information becomes available, the company will go to the FDA and say, we would like to either apply for an application for a vaccine license or do an emergency use authorization.
Translation. As I try to explain, and I think most of you as well, this is not Trump's vaccine. So many people out there on the left, and it's interesting, the vaccination deniers, the vax deniers, and the people that wouldn't, who get their kids immunized, but because they somehow think that Trump is in some sort of white suit, like he's Beaker from the Muppets, and he's trying, and they're trying to do stuff, and he's not. The therapeutics, that's not him. Somebody else did that. He's not creating this. It's not going to be called, the Trump scene. It is whatever it's going to be called. But it is hilarious the way that it's being pushed. If the FDA says it's okay, if the lawyers sign off, remember, lawyers, if the lawyers sign off on it and say, we've looked at the results, the FDA seems to be pretty cool with it, let's do this. If that happens, that's a win. And I understand there are some people out there that go, I want to give it a year. I'm going to give it a year just to see. That I totally understand. Not because, I don't like Trump. But it's crazy. We want transparency. We do. And it's hard in a day and age of misinformation, disinformation, outright straight lies. It's tough. And when you go to your echo chamber, and I advise you, if you live in an echo chamber, get out of the echo chamber. I advise you, if you live in an area in your world where you go to one specific group of news that has all the things that you're like, wow, everything I read, I totally believe in. And none of your ideas are challenged. I advise you for a moment to step out and maybe say, is that true? And because we have had this insanity over the last several years of people using disinformation in such a way, we feel now that we have to have gatekeepers everywhere to tell us, hey, this isn't true, or this isn't real, or this isn't that, or we're not going to allow these things on our platforms because too many stupid people buy into it. That makes it tough on us, right? It's always the dumb that ruin it for everybody. Nobody ever says, well, the smart guy ruined that. That level-headed lady over there totally ruined that. It's always, no, Jimmy did something stupid, so now none of us can do something fun because Jimmy's an idiot. There's transparency. This is going to not be a Trump vaccine. This will be a real one. Coronavirus is still here. The debate is raging on how we approach it in the coming weeks and months. I've always been a proponent for the way that Sweden's gone about it. Light touch, protect the people that need to be protected. They failed at first doing that, but they've got it right now. Doesn't mean it's going to be perfect. Doesn't mean it's going to jive with everybody. But the reality is, at some point in time, we've got to take a step back and ask ourselves several questions about the pandemic. What happens if? I still have yet to hear that from any politician, any leader, any leading person that the establishment media will talk to when it comes to the medical world, except for Fauci. If we don't get a vaccine that is really good, how do we deal with that? Because if you think that people can do another, say, year like this, you're fooling yourselves, especially if there's no end in sight. I think people will feel a little bit better and they think, you know what, the vaccine's coming. It'll be here in July. We know it works, but it's still going to take time for it to get out there. I think people will go, all right, I see the end in sight. There's an end in sight. But if there isn't that end in sight, and then you continue to have these kind of stop-start things, what's plan B? Because plan A has been chaos, stupidity, false information. Go read the Barrington Declaration. If you don't know what it is, go read it. The leading epidemiologist globally, not crazy, wacky people who think that, that Trump's like, I like this person. You find out later on, oh yeah, she also thinks that she is an alien and she's a lizard or whatever. But the leading epidemiologist, Yale, Harvard, Oxford, it's very interesting what they're saying. That even if we do get a vaccine, unless it's 100%, let's just say it's 50%, this thing's still going to be here. So we better learn how to live with it, through it, and around it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Love hearing from every single one. Yes, I'm going to get to the Cougar story. Absolutely. It's just a great story. It is. It is a great, well, you guys know our saying about nature. We'll probably throw it at you here in a couple minutes. Rough Greens, speaking of nature, my dog Doodle, who would probably take on a cougar. He probably would. All 12, he's like a sausage. Probably just come at the cougar with all its might and then be eaten. But right now, I love the fact that he can run. I love the fact that he can jump. I love the fact that Rough Greens has changed his life for the better. Great for him and all puppies out there, dogs of all ages. He had arthritic hips. He had fatty tumors. We started feeding him Rough Greens about 6.5, 7 months ago. Changed everything. He's happy. He's bouncy. Because the food we were feeding him, while it was good food, it wasn't living food. Rough Greens is the supplement you put on top that brings it to life. Vitamins, minerals, vegetables, omega-3, 6, and 9, probiotics. Changed everything for the Doodle. And it'll work for your dog. It is incredible. It truly is. Sprinkle it on your dog's food. You watch the difference. A 14-day jump start. So 2 weeks, less than $15, $14.95. Try it for yourself. Put it to the test. See what it does for your dogs. See the change in your dog's attitude, but also just in sometimes the little aches and pains and the bounce they have. Go to roughgreens.com/Chad, ruffgreens.com/Chad, or call 833-MyDog88. 833-MyDog88, $14.95, 2-week jump start. Do it! Rough Greens, we make any pet food better. Chad Benson Show.
I usually don't get into politics. As an ordinary suburban housewife, I feel a little disrespected. I teach my children not to name call.
You are a blabbermouth!
Come on, man.
Guys, can we please keep the chatter to a minimum?
Chad Benson.
Oh, 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 you're a scary kitty cat. Holy no, go away. Go away. No, no. Okay, this is when I die. Holy dude, I don't feel like dying today.
That's a hiker. Kyle Burgess. Producer Phil, you being an aficionado of the Chad Benson Show and one of our main people, will you remind the listeners about nature?
Nature will mess you up.
Mess you up. You go into nature, there is always a chance it will mess you up. Hiker and naturalist Kyle Burgess went into nature. He thought he saw something. Thinking to himself, this will be perfect for the gram. I'm going to go over and take a peek because I think I know what it is. They're cubs. Oh, let me tell you about animals. Some animals, they have their young, they lay their eggs, whatever it is, and they bounce. There's no love, there's no nothing, there's no, I don't care. I care less. Bye, whoop, don't care. Right, this is it. Others, sea mammals, have their critters, their cubs, and they protect their cubs at all costs. Now, when you run into certain animals, like, say, a mountain lion, out on the trail by itself, 99.99%, you're never going to see it. And if you do, it'll be sparingly and it'll turn run over the way. Even bears. When you run into mama, who's protecting cubs, she don't like that. No matter how big you make yourself, no matter how noisy you make yourself, no matter how tough you think you are, nature will mess you up. Now, fortunately for Kyle, and he said, I wasn't really looking to see. I didn't know there was little cubs there.
Really, I think it did what it wanted to do. Yeah, get me away from its babies. And I don't blame it. It doesn't know that I don't want to harm it, but it also didn't know kind of my intentions, right? So when I first got my phone out to kind of start recording, because I saw some wildlife, I didn't know they were baby cougars at that point.
What did you think they were? Well, I don't know, like house cats, maybe? Come on. Come on, Kyle. It was perfect for the gram. We see it every year. Ding-dongs on a beach pull a shark out of the water so everybody can take a picture of the gram. Right? This is going to be great for the gram. I'm going to make this the cover. And then what happens? The shark dies. We're like, people are stupid. You should know. Right? You should. But nature will mess you up. Kyle, will you be going back?
I don't know if I totally thought I was going to die. I know in the video I do mention that I was like, man, I didn't want to die today. But it was really just something like that happened in that moment just because all the emotions that were playing through my head. Something like that doesn't necessarily scare me not to go back to that same spot. I mean, we get in a car wreck, you're not just going to not go to work or not get back in the car again. You're going to do the same thing over again next day, right?
It's Kyle. Never trust a man that hikes by himself. Chat, I'm just saying. Right? Like the only men who hike by themselves, they were in a plane crash, or there was two of them, and now one of them is by themselves. Oh, Chad. 323-538-2424. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program, Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Honest to God, you really, I can't get over it because Andrew Yang, he's lovely. Ro Khanna, he's lovely. They are not negotiating this situation. They have no idea of the particulars. They have no idea of what the language is here. I didn't come over here to have you. So you're the apologist for the Obama, excuse me, God forbid.
Madam Speaker, I'm not an apologist. I'm asking you serious questions because so many people are in desperate need right now.
The battle that is Wolf and Nancy Pelosi. It was very interesting to listen to them go at it. If you didn't hear it yesterday, and this is about what's going on right now. We got COVID, the economy. Why aren't we getting stuff done? Why can't you guys come to some sort of agreement in some way, shape, or form, or allow people in the economy to open back up? You can't hit pause with no plan of action, and nothing to help the people. That is completely ridiculous. People want to work. They don't want $1,200. Well, sure, if you want to give me $1,200, that's great. But if your choice is, hey, I'm going to give you $1,200 and I'll extend a little bit of unemployment, but you're going to be unemployed, and by the time you go to get a job again, the economy may be in such dire circumstances that you may not get a job back at the level you were. People want to work.
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
When was the last time...
Let me respond to you.
Let me ask you, when was the last time, Madam Speaker, when was the last time you spoke with the President about this?
I don't speak to the President. Speak to his representative.
Why not call him and say, Mr. President, let's work out a deal. It's not going to be everything you want, not going to be everything I want, but there are so many Americans right now who are in desperate need. Let's make a deal. It's not everything you want,
but you know
but there's a lot there.
And I'll be honest. Wolf went after. It's been a while, right? They got to sharpen their knives just in case Trump's not there. We better ask some of these other people some serious questions, right? And it is a serious question. Unfortunately, we do need another round of something. Should it be targeted? We can debate that all day, but at this point in time, we need to do something because too many people are being told you can kind of work, you can't work. Real unemployment is different than unemployment. Look, we're at 7.9. It's not the way it works, kids. Real unemployment's probably closer to 17 to 20%. Black unemployment's at 30%. White unemployment's at 23.9%, according to some studies. But I put it probably between 17 and 20%. Some places it's maybe 9%, 10%, maybe even a little bit less. Other places it's probably closer to 25 or 30%. We need to do something. Through no fault of their own, through the slap-happy goofy way that we have handled each state in a different way, which is states' rights. I'm all for that. But they didn't think anything through long enough to realize the damage this would do to the economy for the extended time that we have shuttered things and or restricted the amount of customers, people, whatever it is. So yes, Madam Speaker, and Mitch McConnell, and President Trump, do something. Government is government. None of us really like it, but it's necessary. And at times, it's the necessary evil. But when it gets in the way of being able to handle business, because there's no plan, or the plan is kind of more of a half plan. It's like, at this point, I feel like we're going to throw, okay, we're down by 5. We're at the 50. There's 3 seconds left in the clock. Nobody's going to see it. We're going to do a draw play, right? I'm going to throw a little screen pass over here. Like, it's time for us to come up with something better than what we have now, which is politics.
It's not about me. It's about millions of Americans who can't put food on the table, who can't pay the rent,
and
who are
we
having
represent
trouble,
them, and we represent them,
getting
and
by
we represent
these
them.
long food
and
lines that we're seeing.
Them.
I know
we
you
know
are.
Them.
I'm just saying.
We represent them, and we know them.
All right, let's see what happens, because every day is critically important.
Thank you for your
us.
sensitivity to our constituents' needs.
I am sensitive to them because I see them on the street begging for food, begging for money.
Woo, Wolf, pissed. Oh, it's not over.
Yeah,
you evidently do not respect the chairman of the committees who wrote these bills.
I respect
and
all of you.
I wish you would respect the knowledge that goes into meeting the needs of the American people. But again, you're defending the administration all this time with no knowledge of the difference between our two bills. And I thank you for giving me the opportunity to say that to you in person.
That is, and we'll leave it on that note. Thank you so much for joining us.
We'll leave it on the vote that you are not right on this, Will. With all due respect, and we've known each other a long time, you really don't know what you're talking about.
I know what you're talking about. Politics. Politics is what you're talking about. You want tons of money for a lot of other things. You didn't like the slim down bill. It's too thin. The Karen Carpenter bill's not big enough. People are struggling. I'm going to go home tonight. I'm going to pass by the church on my street. So I live a little bit out of town. I'm going to drive down. When I get off, I got a bit of a drive. I'm not going to lie to you. Right? I'm a little bit out there, just a smidge. And we've got a community church before I turn into my little area where our houses are. And since this thing has started and ramped up, that thing that I have seen, that church, that thing of desperation and fear, of people standing in line, cars parked for God knows how long, just snaking in and out. People want action. And you've stopped them from living their lives because you want to protect them. Fantastic. On the guise of this is what's best for you. We're going to do this. We've got an idea. But the idea stopped. And rather than move forward in a real way and say, look, let's put our differences aside. Right, we don't need everything. We may, you may be gone, Trump, in 2-3 months. You may be here, but right now, let's deal with today, and we can fight about the other stuff tomorrow. Or governors have to get out of the way and let everybody get back to business. Protect the vulnerable. Targeted money to the people that are protecting the vulnerable. The people that are sick, the people that are susceptible to dying, the elderly, and everybody else get back to work. Something's got to give. Meandering is not it. It's like we're in a boat. We've got an engine. We've got a sail. We've got rows. We got all the things we need to move. But we have too many damn captains. And we're all going to the same damn place. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from all of you. Trump's out there. Trump Ladies.
I ask you to do me a favor. Suburban women, will you please like me? Remember? Please. I saved your damn neighborhood, okay? The other thing, I don't have that much time to be that nice. I can do it, but I got to go quickly. We don't have time. They want me to be politically correct. Oh, yes, let's discuss it. Let's talk about it over the next 10 years. No. We saved suburbia.
Did you save suburbia? Did you really save suburbia? I don't know if you saved suburbia. But you're asking for people to like you. He's not politically correct. That's one of the reasons people liked him. But with all of that, it's also one of the things that people eventually get tired of is the nonstop fighting. According to a new Gallup poll, and this is interesting because you see a lot of people that are celebrating. 56% of people say they're better off today than they were 4 years ago. Yet all the other polls, when it comes to the thing that matters, which is who people are voting for, and the polls I trust, not the wacky polls out there where Biden's up 484 points. It's like, no. The ones that got it right, the ones who do it in a much different and more specific way that actually has true disparity in the way that they look at voting and the people that they do talk to and contact. Right? So Investor Business Daily, TIPP, Gravis, LA Times, USC, those are the ones who got it right last time, and they've done a pretty good job. They have it much closer, anywhere between 6 and 8 points. Because they're sampling a much broader group of people. Not just like, we talk to 100 people who believe like we do, and they don't like Trump. That's not it. But he's behind there. And what that shows me is people like the actions. They don't like the rhetoric. People like some of the things that he has done because you're not going to agree or like everything every president does. At that point, you are a cult follower. You're not an independent-minded thinking individual, even if you believe one way or another. But what it shows me is it's not the actions, it's the attitude. People are over the show. It was good for a while. Maybe we needed this. Maybe we needed to have the envelope pushed a little bit to maybe have the shock to the system. Right? You ever shock a pool? Right? Sometimes you need a shock to the system. Maybe that's what it needed. I don't know. But I do know there's a lot of people out there that I talk to who love Trump, but they're over the show. And they don't want another 4 years of it. And that's tough to overcome because you're talking about a personality. You're talking about somebody who they are. Hey, could you change that? Don't think he can. And I don't think he wants to. And it worked for him before. But what got him there may also get him out. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show, Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Check out Twitter. I asked a question today. I'd love to hear from you, which is, what's your biggest fear if Trump wins? What's your biggest fear if Biden wins? Everybody's got these crazy fears about what may or may not happen. I'm still waiting for Obama to take away my guns and put us into Sharia law. That has not happened yet, but I'm sure it's just around the corner. And just like that, I'm also waiting for him to lead us into a nuclear war because that's where we were headed, even though he's pulled out troops from everywhere and he's strengthened our military, but bringing them home. So let's just figure that out, right? Which is it? What's your biggest fear with one or the other? Love to hear from you. Car Shield, 24/7 roadside assistance. A rental car for free while your car's in the shop. You choose the shop. They get them paid directly. Take it back to the dealership. You're worried about that check engine light. Your car's 10 years old. You don't have a warranty anymore, but you like your car. It still works. You take good care of it, but you never know. That's where Car Shield comes in. Whether you need to protect your engine or maybe the electronics in your car or the air conditioning, the transmission, Car Shield has a plan that's right for you that fits your budget. Starting as low as $99 a month. All you got to do is give them a call, 800-CAR-6000. 800-CAR-6000. Use code Benson. When you do that, you save 10%. But be specific on exactly what it is that you're looking for. 800-CAR-6000, code Benson saves you 10%, or carshield.com, carshield.com, code Benson saves you 10%. A deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
Don't let the Washington Beltway strangle you. This is where the exhausted majority comes to refuel, realign, and reevaluate. This is Chad Benson.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? Let's take a look, see what's trending around the interwebs. Stuff that's happening with the internet and whatnot, the who's and what. Twitter, a lot of what you would think. Separate town halls tomorrow night. Calls for MSNBC and NBC to be boycotted because Trump's going to be on there. That's Amy Coney Barrett. Hearings going on. Hunter Biden and the New York Post are trending because they got a hold of his emails. Somehow somebody from Burisma, the Ukraine, got to meet with Joe that was in a business associate. Chad, you should care about this. I don't care about that. I'll be honest with you. I don't care. But Chad, you should. Why? I don't care. I don't care. I can't tell you how much I don't care. But it's both sides do it. I hear, I get tweeted, oh, how much money did Jared and she got 500 million patents from the Chinese. And then over here, it's like Hunter Biden. It's like, you go, what? You guys fight this over about the kids. There are two elderly gentlemen who are running for president. One is president, trying to get a second term, and the other one is trying to be president. You guys fight over the kids. Send over to Google. This I find interesting. Ted Cruz tweeted at Jim Carrey. Because if you guys haven't seen it, Jim Carrey likes, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, he's a bit liberal. Hates the people on the right, would probably be the best way to describe how he feels about people like Ted Cruz. And he did this hellbound Ted Cruz artwork, and Ted Cruz tweeted at him and said, touche, by the way, Ted, and said, can I have that for my office? Now, if Jim Carrey was cool, he'd go, yeah, you know what, Ted, you can have it, and let me deliver it to you. And then maybe they have a conversation. Just throwing it out there. Crocs, not the ones that eat people. The salties. Justin Bieber has a collection of Crocs that is dropping today. I didn't know Crocs were a thing again. I had no idea. At all. And it's still Prime Day. For those of you not keeping score. And Cardi B speaks out after accidentally posting her topless photo. How do you do that? Oh my God. She gave you the WAP, and on accident, she gave you that. I didn't. Oops. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from everybody. What's your biggest fear between Trump and Biden should either of them get elected? Because you never know. Kanye, write in. But what's the biggest fear with Trump? What's your biggest fear with Biden? Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
To my Democratic colleagues, I understand where you're coming from. I understand what you want the court to do. You want the court to do things differently than we do. I don't question your motives, and I want to thank you for conducting this hearing in a way that has been respectful.
That's Lindsey Graham, Amy Coney Barrett. Of course, today, I think it's the last day of her being grilled on the floor. And then we're going to move on, I guess. Look, we know this is coming, and they can be pissed, and everybody's going to be pissed, and people will start saying, Trump shouldn't have done this, and it's like he had the right. That's the reality of it. He had the right, and the Democrats would have done the same, and I would have expected them to do the same because that's their job. That's your job. So, do I think that she's all that's evil? I do not. I was speaking to a buddy that works here, and he's pretty liberal. And he said, it's hard not to like her. Like, she, you can not like her policies or some of the things that, the conservative ways that she has, I guess, or the beliefs that she has, not policies, not like she has policies, but it's hard not to like her because, you can look at her and say, well, she's got it all, right? She's brilliant minded. She is quick. She seems, at times, I was watching yesterday, and I'm even watching, some throughout the day today. I think she's looking at them, and they all think this. I really have to answer a question from you? Like, this is, of all, you're a buffoon. And the way that some of them have conducted themselves, like, have you ever sexually assaulted anyone? You're like, I can't at this point. I can't. Just, we know what's going to happen, and she's capable. Well, Merrick Garland was what happened? He was nominated, but you didn't have the Senate. And it'll be changed one day, where there will be a Republican president and the Senate will be the Democrats and they won't hear. And then a Democrat will be president and they'll hear. That's the ebb and flow of the world that we live in. The only time that you're not going to see that is when eventually we're in a position where we've only got 8 because they're not going to stack the courts. They're just not. Because there's a never-ending what if they stack the courts? Well, then the Republicans will do it. And remember, you stacking the court also puts your little fiefdom into a position of peril. Because voters in America are very fickle. Voters in America are very much, I've had enough of you. So when you go and say, we're stacking the court, even people that may believe, well, they say, well, that's not right. And so the next time you come up to vote, what ends up happening? Oh, yeah, you did that. I didn't like what you did. Thought it was kind of cheap. And so we're going to ask you to leave. And then the Republicans do it. And it's never ending. Next thing you have like 600 people in the Supreme Court. If you want to change it to some term limits, I got no problems with that. I don't think anybody really has a problem with that. But at this point in time, we know what's going to happen. And she's more than capable. Was Merrick Garland? He was more than capable. Merrick Garland was absolutely more than capable. Will we one day see a partisan version of something? Yeah, because one day we'll see somebody who retires or passes on early on into a president's presidency, meaning it could be the first year of his or her first term, and the Senate is in another direction, opposite of what that president is. The president will nominate, and they'll have to sit down and really think about who they could actually get through. But those aren't these times. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at me. Text the program. Trump?
I'm running against the single worst candidate in the history of presidential politics. And you know what that does? That puts more pressure on me. Can you imagine if you lose to a guy like this? It's unbelievable. It's disgusting.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. It feels like, I don't want to say he sees the writing on the wall, because I don't think Trump is that guy but I think he's starting to understand that he's maybe in a little bit more trouble than he leads on to be. He's putting the pressure on himself. I'll tell you, if he loses, you know he's going to blame? He'll blame the mainstream media, fake news. He's going to blame a lot of other people out there. You just didn't like my words. You didn't like my words. You didn't like you liked him. You didn't want your jobs back. You wanted empathy. And that's what I think he's going to do. Could be wrong. Been wrong before. I'll be wrong in the future because I'm a human being. I asked the question, and many of you are tweeting and texting in. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. What's your biggest fear if Trump wins re-election? And if you're a Trump supporter, what's your biggest fear if Biden wins? David tweets, at Chad Benson Show, biggest fear at Real Donald Trump is not fixing health care insurance and Social Security. But my biggest fear with Biden is higher taxes, including a socializing health care and education. I get that. That I understand. That's a real thing. It's a very real thing. D says, more lies, obfuscation, and American continue to slide downhill in what we get with the Trump administration. Totally understand. A lot of that is I'm seeing the chaos and craziness. And people are, and it's funny because people are answering both because I think there's a lot of fear for the 70%. Remember, 15% on each side have the bully pulpit and they're as loud as they can be. And because they're that squeaky wheel, they're getting the grease. The other 70% of us live our lives in a much different way. And we have fears with both of these. Justin, Trump, he wins. We permanently fall into minority rule. The Department of Justice permanently politicizes loss of safe abortions, domestic use of military. Biden, I fear he tries to govern in a pre-Merrick Garland manner. Maybe he wears a tan suit. Remember that tan suit? That was spectacular. Obama never lived that thing down. A tan suit. Oh, my God. What say you? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Twitter. Tweet at us. Kraft macaroni and cheese, baby. You guys are in trouble. You know why? Because of nudes.
This ad campaign from Kraft under fire.
I want there to be no confusion. Do not send nudes. Definitely send nudes.
The backlash was served up piping hot. Comments flooding the brand's Instagram like this one. Stop, stop, stop. Listen to all of these moms. We are your customers. A Change.org petition was even launched. The title, Kraft Mac and Cheese, Your Send Nudes campaign was harmful. Do better for our kids. Kraft seeming to hear the feedback loud and clear. All of the videos and posts related to the Send Nudes campaign have been deleted.
So their whole send nudes wasn't nudes. We all understand that, right? Like nobody, if you're sending a picture of your junk to Kraft Macaroni and Cheese because you didn't quite get it, Noodz, like noodles, nudes. But it caused a stink because we live in a world where people like to cause it. Because Karen didn't understand that. This is the problem in the world we live in. We have to protect everybody because they don't get nuance and sarcasm. At no time when I saw that thing at first did I think, oh, hold on a second, I got to go take a picture of my junk because Kraft wants it. Producer Phil, would you go do that? Would be the first thing that comes to your mind?
Well, if they're asking, no one else wants one.
Oh, you meant the noodles. I thought that was spelt weird. Sorry about that. And there'll be idiots that get it, but it's still, come on. Right? Like do we need to protect ourselves like that? Is that what we really need? As a dad, I get it. Right? I get the humor and the sarcasm for what they're trying to do. They're trying to have a little bit of fun. You should understand that. But no, we have to do what we always do. Quick, everybody! Head on over to change.org. Get a petition going. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show Twitter. Tweet at us. Black Friday. Can we say that anymore?
A shopping upside to the pandemic, Walmart is spreading out its traditional one-day Black Friday deals, stretching the sales over 3 weekends in November to reduce crowds in its stores. The nation's largest retailer will also reserve more of its doorbuster deals for online shoppers. Other retailers like Macy's have said their Black Friday deals will also be spread out and online. Walmart's deals start on the web November 4th, then in stores beginning November 7th.
Whoa, the spread out, the deals. There's going to be tons of deals. So if you're doing okay this Christmas season, this holiday season, this fall season, this winter season, whatever you want to call it, that makes you feel good about yourself, so I don't want to offend anybody, this season, you're going to have opportunities at deals galore. That's awesome. I'm loving that because I like myself a deal, right? We've got Amazon Prime Day for another day. It's not like we're not going to get more great deals, but the spread out of this, oh yeah, there's going to be deals galore. There is. There's going to be some deals out there that you're going to be able to grab. That thing that you wanted. And I hate it because, I collect lizards. And if you guys know, I collect reptiles. And I hate seeing people I do business with or people I know in the reptile business struggle, because they've lost their jobs and they're trying to, they're selling their animals that they way too cheap because they're desperate, and it sucks. It does. And and then there's the other side of it. It's like, well, I've always wanted one of those. And that's the position you fight. But deals at these stores and any kind of luxury deal, that is going to be huge this year. You're going to find stuff that you thought I could never afford that in a regular time, but we're not living in regular times. So I could get that now. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Tweet at us, text the program, woundedpawproject.org. Go there, check it out. See for yourself how amazing they are and the work they do with our veterans, first responders, and their family, but also the animals they rescue, the dogs they rescue. So we know our soldiers come home. They struggle with PTSD and injuries. Same thing with our first responders, as well as their families. In many cases, their families have issues that they're dealing with, and there's so many things going on in and around that. And Wounded Paw Project, what they do is they rescue animals, dogs, train them to be service dogs, and then get them to our veterans, first responders, and family, whether they're struggling with PTSD, injuries through war, whatever it is. It's amazing. If they need your help, you can give through the donation of a vehicle. Go to woundedpawproject.org. Find out how you can give. Great tax-deductible gift as well. And the proceeds will be used to advocate and train these dogs that they rescue for our veterans, first responders, and their family. You can also go to smile.amazon.com, set your supporting group up to help them. And they take cash as well. Find out everything that you can do to get involved. Go to woundedpawproject.org, woundedpawproject.org. You'll be saving a paw to save a life. Chad Benson Show.
Hashtag me too. Hashtag immigration reforms. Hashtag help. I'm trapped in a hashtag factory and I can't get out. The Chad Benson Show.
According to vaccine researchers, it does happen, though not often. I think we have to remember that when you're enrolling 30 to 60,000 volunteers, it would almost be unusual if you didn't see some of these events.
Yeah, that's Dr. Jen Ashton, Johnson & Johnson pausing what's going on to take a look because somebody got an unexpected illness. 60,000 people in the trials. What is it? Well, here's the thing. First of all, we don't even know if it is the placebo. So remember, you have 60,000 people. Half of those people are going to receive a placebo. So they don't know what they're getting. And the other half are going to receive the vaccine. Did the placebo people get something that is obviously just a sugar water or whatever, and they got something else, and then you're like, all right, well, it has nothing to do with this. If somebody who's taking it has something, is it associated with this particular thing? Or is this something completely different? And it's what you expect. I read a great article yesterday in the National Review. And one of the guys who has been the biggest Debbie Downer, right? Like 10 times more Debbie Downer than Fauci and everybody else. The realist, which I'm totally fine with. Absolutely. Talking about we're never going to get this, we're never going to get that, this is going to take forever. His argument is Trump's legacy will not be the courts. Even if he wins a second term, it will not be the economy if it rebounds. It will not be if he pulls us out of the war. It will be none of those things. His biggest legacy, he argues, is Operation Warp Speed did something that nobody in the medical community thought, nobody in the government side thought could be done potentially, which is get a vaccine from zero. So a year ago, we're living our lives, planning things out, not knowing what's going on. Something appears in Wuhan, China. And then it lands in Europe, and then it lands here. And we went from zero to a vaccine potentially in less than a year. He argues that's his legacy. Is it? It's possible. It is pretty amazing. And I like how people get mad. Well, Trump calls the CEOs and he puts pressure on them. Damn Skippy, he should. What are you supposed to do? Don't bring me problems, bring me solutions. The other thing he doesn't get credit for all the stuff that he gets hammered for the way he's treated this thing and all of the things, one of the things he doesn't get credit for is he's already bought and paid for all of the vaccines, essentially. He's like, we want you to produce all of these things now. Not when you go, we've got it, now we'll start producing it. No, we're paying for it. And if it sucks and it doesn't work, then guess what? You got free money. And if it does work, then you're ready to roll. That's pretty forward thinking. That is. You can blast him for a lot of things, but some stuff you have to go, you know what? That's good. That's a good job there. I like it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tomorrow night, no debate. I think we can all thank goodness for that. But
instead of the second presidential debate, there will be dueling town hall events on Thursday evening. Joe Biden sits down with ABC's George Stephanopoulos and voters in Philadelphia for a 90-minute Q&A session. At the same time, President Trump will do a town hall event on NBC News with Florida voters at an outdoor location in Miami. The second presidential debate was supposed to be a town hall event, but after the commission said the two candidates would appear from remote locations, President Trump said he would not participate.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting to see how that goes, right? I want to see if they're going to get Biden some real questions, because the last time he had one of these, it was like, oh, my God, is Trump the worst? Or if there's going to be some real questions. And we know, like, Trump's going to get some serious questions, and I want to see both of them. And I usually find these things more informative. But at the end of the day, Trump still needs another shot at Biden one-to-one on a stage. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Let us know what's your biggest fear if Trump gets reelected or your biggest fear if Biden wins. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
I ask you to do me a favor.
Okay.
Suburban women, will you please like me? Remember? Please. Please. I saved your damn neighborhood, okay? The other thing, I don't have that much time to be that nice. You know, I can do it, but I gotta go quickly. We don't have time. They want me to be politically correct. Oh, yes, let's discuss it. Let's talk about it over the next 10 years. No. We saved suburbia.
You saved it. Did you? Did you save it? The poll that came out last week, 56% of people asked, in a Gallup poll, and you can go find all the polls you want, but they say they're better off now than they were 4 years ago, even with all that's going on. But other polls, and polls I trust, are pointing to Trump being behind in the polls. Why is that? It's simple. Suburban women. They don't want any part of this. People are over the show. People are over the show. New article in Politico today talking about Michigan, the swing state that he needs. And guess what? It's looking less and less competitive on a daily basis. And it could be a blowout. As one person say, he's just so angry all the time. That's not good. I'm here to tell you. I know a lot of suburban women. And they're not thrilled. They're not happy. They're not. They're over the crazy. They're over the chaos. They're over the madness. If you're married, you probably have a friend that you like, but your wife can't stand them, but tolerates them. And then eventually, she's like, I'm over this. Is that Trump? For a lot of people, I think it is. Yeah, I like the actions, right? Your buddy was there for you when nobody else was. Your buddy helped out. Your buddy, whatever. But your buddy also put you in some bad positions sometimes. And eventually, you got to decide, you know. And I think there's a lot of people out there that are just tired. They're tired of it all. Totally get that. But the words, it's not just the words. It's the reaction. It's the nonstop. It feels like we never focus on stuff. There's more to it than that. There is. And sometimes people just don't want the headache. And that sounds like it's a situation where you're like, well, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? It's the words and no, sometimes people just get over it. Even if it's somebody that we just don't want the headache anymore. And I know that it's exhausting. Let's be real. It's totally exhausting. There are people out there that exhaust people. And that's sad because I've liked some of the actions. People ask me, what actions you like? I love what he did with the economy. I love what he did with the, you had the Try It Act, right? Like, hey, this is great. You had reform when it comes to justice, and we need more of that, and we need to talk about more of that. I like the way he talked about immigration. I didn't like the way he handled some of it, but the reality is both parties ignored it for years. He is bringing home our troops, and now you got Democrats who seem more war hawkish than John Bolton. Well, hold on a second. I like the fact that he held NATO's feet to the fire. It's easy to have free health care when you know we'll protect you. I do like that. I like the fact that at times he did fight. But I didn't like the fact that he fights all the time. People say, who are you going to vote for? I don't know at this point. I don't. It's not going to be Joe Biden. I know that. I just don't trust the Democrats. But I don't know if I don't want another 4 years of this. Do you honestly want another 4 years of this? I don't. I like Joe Jorgensen. The problem is, to me, what is that? It's a third party with 2%. And that's the frustrating part for somebody like me. And a lot of you out there. Because you feel like you're choosing somewhat of the lesser of two evils. I think people who love Trump want to vote for Trump. People who hate Trump feel like they have to vote for Biden. Nobody's excited about voting all in on one side or the other. This race is between Trump and Trump. And you've got so many people that have early voted. Does that hurt him? Because what helped him in Michigan, Ohio, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania were those last-minute voters. Those last-minute voters that broke overwhelmingly for Donald Trump. And they're not going to be there this time in those kind of numbers. And then you've got a lot of people now, according to the latest, I mean, we're down in a ton of states as far as registration. Huge. Down big time. Down bigly. Because you have a lot of people that are just, I'm over politics altogether. I don't like the screaming. I don't like the yelling. I don't like a lot of what's going on. I don't like the way things are playing themselves out. I feel like my vote doesn't even matter because I go out and vote. And who do I vote for? The lesser of two evils? Who do I vote for? Who's going to suck less? It's frustrating. It is. And I hear everybody out there. I understand it. We're all frustrated. Trump's going to have one person to blame if he loses and one person to credit if he wins. It's him. Trump is his biggest salesman. He's his own ride or die. If he wins, he's going to credit himself. If he loses, he's going to blame everybody else. But it's him. That's it. Not going to, the media, sorry. No, have the Democrats, sorry. That's their job. The Republicans will do the same thing. They did it with Obama. Their job is to fight against everything. That's their job. At the end of the day, this may come down to, I just don't want 4 more years of fighting and anger. I don't. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Shows your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Amy Coney Barrett. She is going to, the reality is if you've looked at the new polls on her favorability is going up, up, to the point where now it's almost as if, maybe it's just better that we just move her on through. According to Morning Consult, 48% support Barrett's confirmation, 31% oppose. Those are registered likely voters. That's huge. So 48%. Remember, a couple weeks ago, we should honor her dying wish, right? Or, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, honor her wish. Well, it's not the way it works. And now, even though people say, well, we should wait until, it's not the way it works. People are looking and going, well, she's here. She's really good. Maybe it's just better that we put her through. Maybe it's better that we move her on. Maybe it's better that this happens because it looks like she is, she's got the goods. And she does. I think she absolutely has the goods. Let's hear a little bit of Amy Coney Barrett. Voting rights.
When I said Justice Scalia's philosophy is mine too, what I meant is that his jurisprudential approach to text, as we've talked about originalism and textualism, is the same that I would take. And I think as for the Voting Rights Act, I think that it was obviously a triumph in the civil rights movement.
Yeah, originalist, textualism. She's an originalist. She looks at what the Constitution says. How was it written? Not how somebody wants to interpret it. You want to see it as something else? You want to read into it as something else? And on the other side, I'm looking at this as it was written and applying it to this. Whether it's the Voting Rights Act, whatever it's going to be. But I think you're watching, as much as I have over the last couple days, because I'm doing a lot of different stuff, Democrats, minus a few moments here and there, I think they knew once she got in there, you can dislike her Catholicism, her strong belief, her family, her pro-life stance and all of those kind of things, as far as not dislike her family, but the fact that she is a big family and she's pro-life and all this stuff. But she's got it together, right? Like, she's sharp. You don't get to this position. She's not some handmaiden's tale. She's not a Stepford wife that, snap of the fingers, she's going to do something. She has her own mind and her own beliefs. And I think that for all of them. And we've seen that. I mean, how many times have we seen Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Roberts on the other side of something Trump has done? Which is a shocker, I know. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show, Twitter. Because everybody thinks, you've got to believe this. Just because you want it doesn't make it so. Just because you want it doesn't make it so. And you see that in a lot of different ways. And that's what I don't think she's going to be all the evil that so many people believe. Is she conservative? Yes. Will things be challenged, or people will look at this as a way to challenge it, try to get the Supreme Court because they think that they can overturn something? Yeah, but I think they're going to be surprised along the way. What about marriage equality? We're not into taking rights away from people. And I just don't I don't see it happening. I don't. I think we're leaving it as it is. Love who you love. Marry who you marry, and wish government stay out of all of that anyways. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Twitter. My Pillow. My Pillow. Giza sheets, Giza towel. Breathable, soft, amazing. Incredible. Best cotton around. Most comfortable sheets you're ever going to own. Ultra soft. Egyptian cotton. 60-day money-back guarantee, 10-year warranty. Made in the USA, available in wide variety of colors and sizes. And right now, with the Dream bed sheets from MyPillow, you have the opportunity to buy one, get one free. They are absolutely amazing. I love mine. And what I love is I've got the big king bed, right? And I've got deep pockets on these things. Because a lot of times you'll get something, you wash it once, it shrinks up, it never fits right again. You don't have to worry about this with these. Soft, like you could not believe. Incredible. Breathable. You're going to love these. So I want you to go to MyPillow.com right now. Use promo code Benson. Receive 2-for-1 low pricing plus free shipping. It's MyPillow.com. Promo code Benson. Use that there. 2-for-1 low pricing on the Giza Dream bed sheets with promo code Benson. MyPillow.com. Promo code Benson. Chad Benson Show.
No fake outrage here, just the real thing. The Chad Benson Show.
Hello, can I help you? I want to talk to you. This is Elba. I want to show you something. I'm sorry, I can't come to the door right now. Get out your neighborhood bylaw, section 5.20. No sign shall be in the yard. If you don't take this Harris Biden down, I will sue you.
Karen is actually Latin for Homeowners Association. So, yeah. So, she's mad. There's a Harris Biden. Now, she's very pissed, and she's got the bylaws. And we all know you can't do anything. Every year we hear crazy stuff. Can't have a flag outside. Yeah. You better. There was one, I'm just trying to think where it was, where you had to have your garage open at a certain time. I remember when I lived out in the Palm Springs area, Rancho Mirage, that we'd take the garbage out and you'd be working all day and they would be like, hey, you haven't taken your garbage cans in. I'm like, I'm gone from like 3 a.m. till 6 p.m. Well, by law say they have to be. And you're like, my God, that's insane. She's not dunning. Oh, no, she's not, old Karen.
I was going to have you sell my house, but that's not going to happen now, and you're going to lose a lot of business because of this. You get out your neighborhood association bylaws, section 5.20.
Oh, my God. You get that out right now. Do you understand me? Is that insane? Because when I when I was looking for a place, and that's one of the people ask me why I live so far away from where I work, and I live an hour away drive. It's an hour. And in the morning, it's an hour. In a normal non-COVID time, about an hour and 10 minutes to get home. And I stay in town 1 or 2 nights a week. But I don't want to deal with bylaws. I don't want to deal with, your grass needs to be this. I don't. I like the fact that I've got cages, and I like the fact that I've got all of these things for my big lizards. I don't want to deal with that. I'll take the drive over that. I'll take the drive. Hell, I got to be honest, where I live, a little militia-y at times, I feel. I'll take that, because that's a different kind of militia there. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. People are voting early, and it's happening everywhere. People are waiting forever in line. Places like Georgia,
Over 700,000 people have had their votes cast and recorded already.
That is massive, massive, massive. And the stats are showing that.
Over 11 million votes have already been cast across this country. They are shattering records in places like Texas and Georgia, where people are waiting up to 8 hours in line in some areas. Over 240,000 Georgians have now voted in person, and that's just in the last 2 days.
Yeah. So you put that with the other 500,000. You're at 700,000 with the absentee votes. People are waiting in line forever. Yet registration in some states is down. It's crazy. It really is. It's nuts. And that's why it's so hard to tell in this day and age which way this thing's going to go. I think it's going to get closer and tighter on a daily basis. And every day I see something that says it's 90% for Biden. And, Biden it may be 90. It may be. Biden may win 40 states, but he still only may win by a couple million votes. That means half the country still is not on your side. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
It strains originalism. If the clear wording of the Constitution establishes a right and you will not acknowledge it.
Well, Senator, it would strain the canons of conduct, which don't permit me to offer off-the-cuff reactions or any opinions outside of the judicial decision-making process.
Amy Coney Barrett. Dick Durbin. Sounds like an adult film star. Did you guys see that movie with Dick Durbin? She's holding her own. She is. I think this is going to be even easier than I think some people thought. There's really not a lot. What are you going to get her for? There's no smoking gun. So that's not, there's not, you don't have to worry, right? If you're like, what are they going to do? I saw the first day when they nominated her. It's like, how are they going to get, Christine Blasey Ford to say that she was sexually assaulted by Amy Coney Barrett? There's not. She is sound. What we're talking about now is interpretation of law when it comes to Amy Coney Barrett. How does she interpret the law compared to this group of people? She's an originalist. She looks at it and she looks at the text of the Constitution. She interprets it as it was written. Others interpret it as they would like it to be. One looks at it as a living, breathing document that's expanding, and it means this, but that's way too open to interpretation. Well, I want it to be this way, so it should be this way. And that's the problem we have. So many ways we all want to get to the same place. We just have a different path that we want to take and how we think we should get there. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Jim Acosta. It's always fun to have him on.
But Iowa and North Carolina are really states that should be in the bag for President Trump right now. That's an indication as to how much trouble he's in politically right now, Wolf. And as this crowd is chanting that there are members of the press here who suck, I should also point out, Wolf, what also sucks, getting the coronavirus.
You know what's great? Oh, they're chanting towards No, they're not chanting towards members of the media. It's specifically you and CNN. That's who it is. It is you. I'm not a big fan of Jim Acosta. There's a lot of other people that can be combative, and CNN is what CNN is. And so, but he wants to be so much a part of the story. He likes it as much as everybody else does. He likes to push their envelope and be a part of something. And he does. And so, no, they were not chanting towards the media. It is you. It is you. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Are we getting closer or further away from a vaccine? A Trump scene. That's what I'm calling it now. Because it's all about Trump. It's just he's mixing it himself. It's like he's got a little lab, like it's Breaking Bad, and he goes upstairs at night and he's totally just mixing. He's going down to the corner. He's buying all the Sudafed he can because he's going to make sure that everybody gets what he's got. Right? And everybody's going to be saved, and that's why nobody's going to want to take this.
There are multiple fail-safe measures associated with the vaccine trial. An independent group, beholden to no one, not to the government, not to the FDA, not to the drug company, not to me. They will look at the data, they will analyze it, and they will determine, is there statistically enough information there to say that it is effective? Once that information becomes available, the company will go to the FDA and say, we would like to either apply for an application for a vaccine license or do an emergency use authorization.
That's Fauci right there. Emergency use authorization means we can do it right now. Right? So we're going to do it right now. We're going to give you kind of like, okay, yes, you've got this. It's like when you go get a license, you don't get your picture license there. Give you a piece of paper, right? And so yes, we're going to approve you and we're going to allow you to start using it at this moment in time. So the thought process that it's a Trump vaccine, that he's mixing it himself, is nuts. There will be transparency, but it doesn't mean that these things are without issues. Case in point, Johnson & Johnson having to push pause on their vaccine at this moment in time because,
according to vaccine researchers, it does happen, though not often. I think we have to remember that when you're enrolling 30 to 60,000 volunteers, it would almost be unusual if you didn't see some of these events.
Yeah. So you got 60,000, 30,000 gets the placebo. Another 30,000 gets the real thing. Is this the people who have the placebo? Is this somebody who's taken the real thing? What exactly is said issue?
In some cases, it's not even clear whether these events occurred in those people who got placebo versus the vaccine or the drug. And that is precisely why there are independent safety boards looking over these trials.
Independent safety boards. Thank you, Dr. Jennifer Ashton. Meaning it's not just them. Like, hey, we're Johnson & Johnson. We're going to look over this because that's the worry, right? And you see what happens. Look at the FDA. I mean, look at the FAA and what they're looking at when it comes to Boeing and the MAX, right? The 737 MAX. Too much buddy, too much closeness, and what happens? So you've got independent. And just look at the lawyers. Go look at what are the lawyers saying? I've always said, if they sign off on something, I'm good with it. Why? Because they're the ones who are going to have to defend it and could potentially be out of a job. So if they give it's all right, we're good to go. But here's a question. I just like somebody, you guys out there, I've asked several people this who are very much like, let's wear masks every day, let's stay inside. Some people who would like to see a cure before anything else. What if we don't get a vaccine that works the way that we would like it to? Remember, the flu vaccine is 35% to maybe 55% effective? Most of us have built up some sort of natural immunity that can mitigate a lot of the damage. And we've got some therapeutics. But what if we don't find that vaccine? What if we only get a vaccine that's 50%? Things still out there. Do we stop doing anything? What happens if we don't get one at all that is really good? That instead of 50%, it's only 30%, which is better than nothing, but it's not a home run. Do we stay inside? Because that's my thing is I want to know what all the plans are. Can we lay everything out on the table? At some point in time, if these things don't work, right? If the therapeutics is okay, but you got to get it early, but it's not 100%. And the vaccine, it's okay, but it's not great. And I do believe that both of those we're going to solid doubles or triples with maybe a home run with one of those. So I'm not worried, but I'm just asking the question about the what if. Because can you do another year like this? I mean, honestly, can you? I'm about as socially distant as a person you get. I live outside of town. I have my family, have my friends, but spend most time with my family and my lizards. Even when I play golf, 99 times out of 100, it's by myself. But I see the damage that's being done to my son because he can't be in school. I see what's happening to my friends and family because of business, because of financial stress, because of so many different things that are going on. I see the things that are taking place. I see what's unfolding in the political battle of this. But I do think it's a fair question that we ask, and people hate to ask out loud. I feel like remember the movie Alive? Producer Phil, you probably remember the movie Alive. Remember that when the plane crashed?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
First of all, it's nature, and as we all know, nature will mess you up. But secondly, eventually, they had to ask a question that nobody wanted to ask. But everybody kind of thought it. Well, we're going to have to do something. We're going to have to do something that we may not want to do. And not everybody's going to do it, but some of us are going to have to do it if we're going to get out of this. If you don't know the story, plane crash, rugby players, the Andes, survivors, some didn't. They had to make an awful choice of, do we do the unthinkable and climb out of here, or do we not? Now, I'm not saying we're going to have to eat each other. That's silly. But what I am saying is, can we ask the question without it being political? If we don't get something, do we say, you know what? We may have to not so much throw caution in the wind, protect the people that need to be protected, but embrace the fact that this thing's here and that it's not going anywhere and that we can no longer continue like this and that we're going to have to accept the fact that we're going to have to try to climb out of the mountain. But I don't hear any of those things. And I think we need to just ask it's a fair question to ask. And when you pose it as that question, it's like, oh, it's because you just want to kill a bunch of people. Totally. That's exactly what it is. No. But we are getting to the point now where that cure is becoming worse than the disease. And we're seeing our fellow countrymen and women around the country. In some states, you got it a little bit lax. In other states, you're struggling and you're seeing everything. My family lives in California. They're seeing a lot of their stuff disappear. Their businesses, things of that nature. We're going to have to ask a question. I'm not saying we're not going to get a vaccine. I do believe we are. I'm not saying we're not going to get a great therapeutic. I think we have a couple out there, and I'm surprised we haven't got some sooner. But shouldn't we ask a question of what if? Remember, the astronauts, they used to always give them a pill as a just in case. Hey, we're sending you up there, but we're giving you this pill as a just in case, and it's not for the things that we know could happen. It's the things that we don't know that as a just in case. Well, when do we ask that question? And can we do it rationally? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show, Twitter. Tweet at me, text the program. Biggest fear if Trump wins, what is it? Biggest fear if Biden wins, what is it? Tweet at me, text the program. I want to hear from every single one of you. Be open and honest. Don't say, just so many of you are being pretty decent, and then you got the other ones out there who think they're being funny, saying just the dumbest things out there. Goodness me. We give people a platform, right? And this is what happens. Why we can't have nice things. Fall is here. Your chance, start something up, something new. HelloFresh is that. Spice up your mealtime. That's what it says. I had tacos last night. Delicious. 22 chef-curated recipes each week. Your choice of vegetarian, low-calorie, or family-friendly. They even got surf and turf and craft beer. What? So you can get your meal on the tables with America's #1 meal kit, HelloFresh, in as little as 20 minutes. It's easy. I can do it. Anybody can. You're going to save money, about 40% versus shopping at the store. More servings means more savings as well. You can order larger HelloFresh boxes for even better value. You can change your delivery day. So Jack's coming out here. He's going to be out here for a couple weeks. My son, he's 10. When he comes out here, I get a lot more. Why? Because I know he's going to mow through it fast. So that's what I do. But the great thing is it's portioned perfectly. So I'm not cooking a whole bunch and putting stuff together, and then we're not going, oh, God, we wasted all that food. No, it's awesome. So you can change your days. You can add extra meals. Up to you. Get started with America's #1 meal kit. Go to HelloFresh.com. Use code Benson. You're going to get $80 off across 5 boxes and free shipping on your first box. Promo code Benson, $80 off in savings at HelloFresh.com. Promo code Benson. Chad Benson Show.
You go, boy.
This isn't about right or left. This is just about right and wrong.
Right you are, Chad. The Chad Benson Show.
We say it all the time on the show, nature will mess you up. And it's not just animals. Nature itself can be dangerous and evil, and you never know what may happen. And it may be costly in your pocketbook. Case in point, snowboarders, snowboarding, and doing what they snow do, which is GoProing.
GoPro video worn by one of the snowboarders captures the moment. Not just the moment of the avalanche, but the moment two snowboarders traversing above 12,000 feet realized they could be in big trouble.
That's what I was worried about. Buried the road. Yeah.
The road they buried is the service road above the Eisenhower Tunnel, used mostly by state transportation workers.
Oh. Now, why does this matter? Well, it was ugly. It was nasty. They're snowboarding. They're having a good time, right? They're up there at 12,000 feet. Down they go. Colorado, having a good time. 26-year-old Evan Hannibal, that's the name. Tyler DeWitt, 38. Both have been charged with something. Reckless endangerment. Now, this is very interesting. So they're being cool, right? Like, oh, my God, I can't believe this happened. We almost died. The whole 9 yards. Check it out. This will be great. Great for the gram. The whole 9 yards. What?
Their own GoPro video is the prosecutor's best evidence. Something the two snowboarders say they provided in good faith, not guessing it would be used against them.
They all let us go and said, you guys are good to go. We don't see any criminal activity here, and we think you guys handled this professionally in the appropriate manner. And I believed them, and 2 days later we got a call from the district attorney saying that we're being charged with reckless endangerment.
A lot of people take backcountry risks, and we want to encourage it. That's part of the Colorado lifestyle. But when you're endangering others, the risk has gone too far.
So what is it they're facing? Normally, it's like a $650 fine, right? Nothing big. Not so fast. They're being charged with something much different. They want reimbursement to the tune of $168,000 for damages caused by said avalanche. What? That's what they want. So up to 6 months in jail and a $750 fine is what they would, which you're not getting any jail time. And $750, they might make you pay. $168,000? Are you insane? Yeah. They say 100,000 cars go across that thing every week. The snowboarders caused it, they say. Buried a 400-foot stretch of road, 20 feet deep, in flakes, and destroyed a $120,000 piece of avalanche control equipment called Obelix Unit. Well, obviously, it didn't control anything. So maybe they did you guys a favor. Nature, kids, will mess you up. We know that. And sometimes it's in your pocketbook, and other times it's like this cat, Kyle Burgess, who spots something and then finds out that they're cubs and mom's not happy. Oh, cougar mom's coming.
Oh,
I don't, like, if I'm the cougar, I'm like, what is that noise you're making? Like, that doesn't, what is this? What is... Yeah. Nature will mess you up. Know when you go in nature. Something in nature may eat you. Something in nature may bite you and kill you. And sometimes nature itself isn't an animal, but an element. Have a blessed rest of your day. We'll do it again tomorrow. We got you over the hump. Follow along at Chad Benson Show. Twitter, Instagram, Chad Benson Show TV on YouTube, and, of course, the Facebook page. God bless you. We'll do it again. Night, night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.